All right, all right. Good afternoon, traders. Happy Friday, everybody. We're going to give it a minute or two, as always, to let people who are connecting and whose audio is turning on get in place and get situated. Congratulations, everyone. You made it to another Friday. Good week. Last couple weeks have been pretty good. Um, how's everyone trading? How are you feeling? And you know the follow-up question in the realm of understanding the professor, the chimp, and the computer. Whenever I ask somebody, "How are you feeling?" the next question I ask is that how you wanted to feel? Right? That's the "Are you in control?" question. You pretty much know when you say how you're feeling, but sometimes you got to take it that next step. Do you feel in control? Do you feel like you're making good decisions? Do you feel like you're executing your plan? Those are the questions. I got to say, from the conversations I'm seeing in Discord, and if you're not there, jump in. There's good conversations, good trades being discussed. Certainly hope more and more of you take advantage of that. Opportunity is all around us. So, welcome out, everyone, to the Market Watch Group Weekly Market Wrap. My name is Scott. Let's dive right in. Here's our disclaimers, as usual. They don't change. They're in your email, just this basic stuff. Here is our agenda for today. Number one, we're going to take a look at the market analysis. It was funny. I was, conversing with a few people this morning, and oh, the futures are down. And so what? That doesn't mean anything to us, right? The jobs report came out with strength. We expected 190, got 199. Expected unemployment rate to stay the same. We got 2 ticks down, 3.7. It's a great labor market. That is really makes it good for trading, for sustaining the market. That part of it. So that's positive, and you can see now the market continues to express that. What do we think was going to happen? We thought bullish. What are we getting? We're getting bullish. We've had windows of trading in financials and industrials. We have additional windows just sitting right on top of us. I've been happy. I like the fact that our posture's improved over the last 4 weeks. Our watch list is chock full of nice, strong stocks and in a variety of sectors. Couldn't ask for much more right now for me. So I'm happy with that. What are we going to do today? We're going to look at today's market, how it went. What is it telling us? What are we going to be thinking about? We're going to revisit our market posture, just kind of guess at what we think our posture is going to be come Sunday. We're going to look at mindset for trades being carried over the weekend. What are you going to carry? What are you going to do with it? Are you taking profits before the weekend? Are you taking some and leaving some on? Are you taking all? Are you taking nothing? What's going on? Bob, I did see, I read a piece of it. I didn't know if there was more, if there was a link, but I saw that. I got to say, I was one that was enamored early on, and now I feel just disappointed and like, it's never really going to be what they say it was. We're talking about the Cybertruck. If anyone didn't see the article he posted on Discord, I used to be a fan. Now that they overpromised and underdelivered, What am I looking for next week? We'll look at the economic calendar. We'll look at what's going on. Look at the shopping list to see if we still believe that there are additional trades, working or in place. And we'll look at our trading plan progress. We are in record keeping over the last 2 weeks. This week we're on record keeping. Next week we're going to transition to analytics. So important. I honestly, I tell people, I'm like, If you were on driving on a straight road, you'd be pretty confident. It's a straight road. You're just sitting there driving straight. But in reality, you're making little adjustments left and right, left and right, left and right to keep the car straight. If somebody popped up from the back seat, put their hands over your eyes on that straight road, you're gonna be in the ditch, probably within 100 feet, right? You can't keep it straight if you can't see it. Think about that. You can't keep it straight if you can't see it. Same's true with trading. Can't make the adjustments you need to make if you can't see what the numbers are telling you. So if you're trading without the record keeping, without the analytics, it's like driving blind. It's 100%. That's the analogy. So uncover your eyes. Make sure the record keeping's in place. We'll talk about that. Let's dive in. Ooh, if you missed our options class yesterday, we were able to get through some terminologies, some option concepts. We started talking about the basics, buying calls, buying puts. We went back in time and looked at, hey, what would have happened with our case study? What if I would have bought a call around our case study? Oh, it was phenomenal what it did. And rather than leave people thinking, oh, that's great, Scott, thanks for showing us what would have happened. What did we do? We took it a step further. And we took Intel. We went through our watch list and we said, let's grab one. I had already traded Intel. But guess what? If you would have gotten into Intel, you would have gotten in this morning even better. Anyone take the trade? Are you in Intel today? Are you Intel yesterday? Are you in Intel at all? I mean, this is one we've been watching. I took a trade on it prior. Broke even. It started to work and then it fell apart. You can kind of see what I was looking for back here. I was looking for the anticipation. You might say, Scott, you didn't have any confirmation. You're right, I didn't. Nick got into it this morning. Hell yeah, Nick. What's up? I love it. Phenomenal. I don't know if it was already on your watch lists or how much you've been in or around, but awesome trade, man. I think there's at least a few others that are in there as well. Love that trade. Hell yes. That's what we wait for right there, right? And here's the thing. I took the trade here in anticipation. Thought I was so smart at first. Then I'm like, oh, hell. Okay, great. Took the break even, moved down. I'm ready to try it again. Right? Absolutely. And the reason why I did it, because last time it worked. If you look, last time that little boom, boom, that was it. That's all you got. It didn't give us one of these last time. That was it. And then it went. If that would have happened, I was in place. It didn't happen. I took a break even. Actually, I think it was a very small loss, like literally like $20 loss. I call that a wash. Right? So that didn't happen. And then we're ready to go again. Be water, my friends. Adapt or die. That's it. Constantly. That's what we're doing. Love it. Okay, very cool. So if you missed it, go back and watch it. We talked about what expiration and what strike price and what would my risk per contract be and how many contracts and what's my reward to risk ratio. Everything looked good. Nick, if you missed it, go watch and look at it compared to what you did and see if it's along the same lines. The recording's available. It's in the content library. Ooh, it's not. I need to maybe I did update it. I'm trying to keep that like real time updated. So I'll check and make sure. All right, let's go through. Let's see what's happening. Oh, good. Love it, man. I'm so glad. Very cool. Very, very cool. Let's go. What were we going to do? What was my agenda? I lose track. I get all excited and then I forget what I'm doing. It's a thing I have. Posture. Yeah, let's talk about the posture. Right off the bat, what do you think? Stay the same, higher, lower? Anybody have a guess? Long term's just, I mean, again, you'll notice we keep talking about like, well, it's probably going to stay there for a while because it can move up. So yeah, nope, I need to get to the SPY. Bob says same. I think it may go a little higher, and I'll tell you why. So let's go through. Here is the weekly. What's my estimation? That there's still room for it to keep going higher, that it's right where it is, that we've got a really pretty strong read on this right now. So yeah, looks good. Looks good. Okay, number 2, 6 months. I'm going to raise my score. And I'm going to raise my score because we've been waiting for this thing to confirm a higher low. And I feel like that was kind of the final like it was always in this weird kind of consolidation. And now it's turned. Now we've got confirmation. That's the low it represents. That's the highest low yet. And we're taking out highs. I'm only going to give it 1/4 of a point because it's barely taking it out, but I'm going to give that 1/4 of a point. So I'm going to raise mine from a 1.25 to a 1.5. Because remember, one of the things I'm starting to think to myself is that this is possibly helping us to like construct what's the next, right? Is it going to be something like this? Yeah, that definitely looks like a 1.5. Maybe even it's going to be a 2 by that time, right? That's pretty good. If that's what we're moving ourselves into, we knew this was never going to be the trend. That was just too steep to sustain. So as it's kind of consolidated a little bit and then starting to move again, I'm waiting to see what is that going to tell me about the short-term trend going forward. Yeah, I'm going to raise it 1/4 point. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Volume. Did we have any above average volumes? I don't think we did. And in fact, now that our volume got to a certain point, I'm a little thinking it may only stay at this 0.5 for another week or two, and then it's going to start to drop because I'm not really seeing new bullish volume coming. Let's go down to 1 month daily. At this point, we've only got 2 days now. I guess we've got 3. 1, 2, 3, but you'll notice that we're down to 3 to 0. So I'll probably keep it at a 0.5. I'm not going to raise it to a 0.75, but we dropped from a 4 to 0 to a 3 to 0. So that's going to stay the same. Next week, it's going to lose another one, right? We're going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next week, we lose this. So if next week doesn't get anything new, we're going to be down to a 2 to 0. And I'll probably drop it to a 1/4 of a point. But remember that as the long-term and the short-term trend improve and continue to improve their strength, I don't need volume. I don't need it. I don't need to have big volume when the buyers own the trend. Just doesn't need it. Okay. We don't really go through the major market and the sector rotation. We don't really go through that. I mean, honestly, right now, unless we see, and we're seeing it, we are seeing the Russell continue to show strength. Maybe major market pops back up to 0.5. If right, maybe we see that. So that might actually, I think that could happen. Sector rotation is not going anywhere. So we might definitely getting a 1/4 point here, might get a 1/4 point here. So that would put us up to 5.25. And now the VIX, what is the VIX going to tell us? I think the VIX is telling me another lower high. This thing is busting down. Where were we? If we're at a 1, I'll go, okay, we're at a 1.25. I do kind of feel like I would take it to 1.5. At that point, it's pretty much stable, where now I'm thinking we may be sideways stable at a low point. Maybe I'll leave this one alone. I'm not sure. So I think we could be anywhere from 5.25 to 5.5 on our posture, which would be another week. We've gone just boom, 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 boom. Look at that. From minus 0.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be the 6th week in a row. A lot of strength, a lot of things that look good. Employment looks good. The Fed is talking about being more dovish. Jobs are staying strong. Earnings are staying stable as far as that goes. Look, this is great. This is poised for us to have a stay in a bullish market, right? Don't let anyone give any of their sky is falling nonsense. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. Lot of green. Let's go take a look at that. Close. Let me see what's happening here. Yeah. Google's struggling a little bit. Meta's working though. Those two are, oh, look at Nvidia. I'm on the sideline of Nvidia. I kind of pulled back from that. We'll see that here. Let me get this back out when we go through our watch list. Yeah, strength in technology for sure. Communication services is kind of half and half, right? Cyclical looks pretty good. Defensive does not, but we're not really into defensive. We're not really into utilities or healthcare. Materials, maybe. We're into industrials. We're into financials. Everything that we like is looking better, most definitely. As you look at Yahoo Finance, for the Fed, this is what a soft landing looks like. Everyone who said, "Oh, we can't," I've been a believer in the soft landing from the beginning until I was shown otherwise, and I never was. Stocks turn upbeat. What else? I'm with you. I hope they continue to go up. The gig economy's dark side, leaving workers vulnerable. A huge backlog of IPOs. Oh, look at that. We love IPO action. That's bullish. IPO action is very bullish in M&A, mergers and acquisitions. What else? Americans are drowning in credit card debt. They are. I don't know. Does that put them at risk? Does it put the economy at risk, or does it put the credit card companies at risk? Right? I don't know. I mean, certainly if they don't have that to spend on, then spending decreases, but that might create a more stable environment for spending if we ever have the situation come to a head. Let's see what the economic calendar says. What's going on this or next week? We have a lot, actually. Nothing Monday, but we've got CPI, so inflationary data on Tuesday, PPI, and the Fed. If we're speaking about dovishness, I do think that the Fed, as long as the numbers stay good, they're going to say the same thing they've been saying. They're reserving the right to react again if necessary. Well, of course. Does that need to be said? Like, what are we like? Sorry, Jer Bear, you pinky promised that you wouldn't raise rates, and now you're going to? No. Of course they're going to do it if they need to do it, right? I don't think that needs to be spoken, but they're going to speak it anyways. So yeah, I think this is poised. Everything looks pretty good. Sales come back good. We have retail sales on Thursday. We have manufacturing, production, utilization on Friday. So we kind of have a lot next week. Most definitely. Okay. Moving on. Mindset for open trades. Well, let's go through the watch list. Let's do mindset for open trades and potential trades simultaneously. Apple. If I can get my charts. Apple. Still bullish. I took half, kept a third, kept some. I always say half, but it was less than a half on this one. I know some of you traded Apple. Did anyone stay in it? Are you still in it? I hope that you kept some of it. Certainly this was a daunting day here. But guess what never failed? Oh, the magnificent Heiken Ashi candles helping us to stay on the path. Stay the course. We love you and your help that you provide us. Adobe, I think Adobe, I would have traded Adobe. I would have traded it yesterday, and if not yesterday, today. The problem is we only have like 3 days next week before earnings. So I'm like, Aflac looks like it might start to want to go again. I traded AIG this last time. It did a little better. Same thing. It looks like it might want to go again too. So I'm watching the insurers. AMD missed it, but I've got Intel, so I'm okay with that. Amazon, that could be a go signal. Do we have Heiken Ashi? We do not yet. You could wait one more and get it. APH strong but overbought. There's nothing there for us. I mean, it did kind of give like a little turn right here. I don't know. That might have been the flag. Breaks the flag. I didn't trade that one. AXP looks magnificent. Anticipatory. Now, the stochastics is pinching. We've pulled back. Look at your volume. What does that tell us about the sellers? That they're just diminishing as it holds this support level. Do we have confirmation to the upside yet? No. So that's what makes it anticipatory. Could you take it now? Sure. And could you wait one more day? Also, sure. Right? But this is definitely right on the cusp. Strong momentum, good stock in a good area of the financials. This is not. This just looks like it's a damn freight train. You jump on that, you're going to fall off and get hurt. I'm not interested. I'm going to wait for it to do something more convincing. BK gave a pullback and then boom, boom, it's gone again. Great. I don't need to be like, oh, I missed it. What do you mean? We got AXP. We missed a few things before, but I got Citi and I got PNC. Well, we don't have to. I'm not looking to catch every single industrial or every single financial. I'm looking to get one or two. BX, still viable, still setting up. Citi, I'm out of that one. Took great trade. Of course, now I'm like, oh, maybe I should have stayed in. I followed my rules. I followed the trade. Now what? I want to wait for it to pull back. A lot of these things are hitting these old highs, giving us these big cups. I love to trade the handle coming out of the cup and handle. Capital One, kind of too late. COP, I'm not into energy right now. And if I were, it wouldn't be COP, it'd be WMB. But I do keep watching this just to kind of keep an eye on it. The oil, Costco overextended. That trade worked out pretty well. Earnings coming up. Probably won't be able to get another one in. Copart, that's a sell-off for me. It's not any, I'm not interested now. It's a sell-off. It's a consolidation. It's a consolidation, meaning, meaning it's got to do this, or I have no interest. Anything less than that, no interest. I got to tell you, even now, I'm like, I don't know if I even want to watch this one. I maybe would want to, as I say it, I think it, I'm getting rid of it. Let's remember, we want to do a research of industrials. DHI, anyone still in this one? I know a couple of you caught it. Boy, that thing turned out magnificent. And the answer for me is no, I did not. DIA, do I have a good reason? No, I don't have a good reason why I didn't. I just didn't like the entry for some reason. Actually, I do remember why. I didn't like the doji and the hanging man on entry. Fastenal. Sorry, don't mean to make you dizzy. Fastenal looks like it's run out of steam. Yeah, that made a nice move. I still like Fastenal. Still good. Gold, still coming down. Nothing there for me. Google, trying to regain. I know a couple people caught that one. GPS, overextended. Same with Home Depot. Oh my goodness, look at IBM. On point for today. That is buyable for today, without a doubt. You know what? Let's go through that one. ICE. That looks okay. Intel we already talked about. IWM. I think IWM is viable. You could definitely trade that one. JP Morgan looks close. Meta is the one I took. Looks okay. Looks like it's moving. Microsoft, viable. Anybody trading Microsoft today? Microsoft is viable. I'm in, Press says. Yes. Microsoft looks great. I bet we'll be able to tighten stops on Monday. So I like Microsoft. I'm telling you, we got some opportunities, man. This is anticipatory. You could take it. You could wait till Monday. If you want something in communication services, Netflix looks good. It's expensive. It's expensive. So be careful with that. And the implied volatility is middle, not low. So be careful for that as well. But Netflix out of communication services, NVIDIA, I already said I'm waiting for it to, complete the consolidation. PDD, getting close. I'll trade this one the next time it moves higher. PLTR, nope. PNC, took it, waiting again now. That one, I got a real good piece of that. And then now I'm waiting to see if it pulls back. QQQ, RCL, both overextended. Roku, viable. You could go Roku or you could go the other one. Why am I blinking? Netflix. Roku or Netflix, very, very similar. Roku's a little cheaper, maybe a little easier to handle. Shopify, same vein. That one doesn't have the stochastics yet, so that would be a little anticipatory. You could wait on that. SMCI, oh, look at that one. PLTRs caused me to lose my love, and now look at that. Overextended on Snap, SPY, STLD. Oh, I like steel, but it's pulled back to the bottom today for some reason. Where are you? STLD. Still viable for Monday, right? Or Tuesday, coming out of the materials. Got a lot of opportunity, man. Feeling good. Feeling bullish. UNP pulling back, ready for the next trade, coming up next week. Industrials, ready for another one. Visa, I like AXP better. No need for that. The VIX. Oh, look at us at 12.4. We may see back below 12 for the first time since prior to the pandemic in 4 years. WMB could be close. Showing signs. Walmart still a dog, like we said about that. US Steel. Why do I use hollow candles? As opposed to like red and green, you're saying? That's just my preference. I learned on those. You can change if you ever wanted to come into your what are we on? Equities? No. Appearance. So I can do like fillet. I can do green candles instead of hollow candles. So if your preference is that, you could put that in. You could say, I want green candles. I don't like them. See, I think it looks noisy, personally. So visually for me, my preference is definitely hollow bowls, red bears, right? That's just a preference. Okay, how are the XLs? Materials looks good. That's viable for a trade. That's a confirmed trade. We already knew communication services was, and you were probably already in either Meta or Google, with what Roku or Netflix following behind. Nothing in energy. Financials look strong with more already took some, more of them setting up behind it. Technology looks strong. Already took some with more setting up behind it. Staples look stable, so I'm not really interested. Same with utilities. Okay, let's go look at IBM. Since we decided, or since we did some options, let's do a little bit more with that and see what we think about it. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so let me get my IBM is at a 3-year high. Lovely. I love them at 52-week high, 3-year high, all-time high. No resistance. Resistance is futile. All right. Let's do a couple things, right? Let's measure. What does this do when it tends to do things? I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to go from here to here, and I'm going to go from here to here. I mean, you can see that some of the consolidations are a little harder to read. I would say that this is, oops. About, okay, so I think that I would actually give this a little more height and say that's the average move that IBM has made. And I would go like this, and I would pull this down a little bit, and I would say my target is, whoops, drawings, stop drawings, move this back down. What does this say? It tells me that I'm looking for this to go to 169.35 as of the 20th of December. 20th of December. If I'm right. If I'm wrong, half that. I should know by next week, the 15th. At most, 14th or 15th, right? So I have right, I have wrong. This is information we talk about in the options. We talk about you need to know how far is it going to go? How long is it going to take if you're right? How long is it going to take if you're wrong? Where are you wrong? I'm wrong underneath this, but not by very much. 159.5. So I'm risking 2.5, maybe not even 2.5. I might even just go like, let's see here. The lowest point, 159.97. Yeah, I don't know. 159.60. I don't think I need to go very far. 70, 159.70. I'm wrong if it breaks that support level. Let's pull this up here. Let's go into IBM. And I could go just to here. Now, if you went to the options class yesterday, remember I told you I thought that the spreads would tighten up. This one has a similar thing. You can see that there's thousands in January and only hundreds January 5th or December 29th. But you'll notice the spreads during the market are still okay. We're only about 10 cents, 20 cents. That was what I said I hope to be at. So I would be okay going here, or I could go further out and say, you know what, I'm just going to go out to these 165s right here. Okay, now again, at first glance, so let's put our target at 169.35, and down here we're going to say 159.70. What do I have here? I've got about a 4-to-1. Oh wait, nope. I have. Wow, that ruined my trick because it was already set. Remember what we said? We're going to go to next week. Next week, I've got 4-to-1. That looks pretty good. I can live with that. But that risk is too much. We've been working off $300-400 worth of risk. So I would do the same thing here. Probably bring this down to 4 contracts. That's about 375 of risk. I could go all the way down to 2 contracts and only 187 of risk. I know there's a few people still doing 1 contract. The thing that I'm always going to suggest is, look, if you have a really strong plan, don't be afraid of a little out of the money, meaning go 1 or 2 strikes further out so you can get 2 contracts and make it easier on yourself managing your trade. If you're managing the way we do, and you're not just like, oh, I'm going to stay until the end of expiration and see what happens. Nope. That is not what we're doing. Okay. Yes. Let me know about that. Why does the risk change with the number of contracts? Good question, Press. Because remember, right, like if you were to just, and you can set yours to just be 1 contract by default instead of 10. This is a per contract. Per contract, I'm risking $95 to make 381. What doesn't change, and I think this is what you're getting to, what doesn't change is the reward to risk. That's the number that has to meet our rules. That has to be 3-to-1 or better, right? But if I'm doing that, so one person who has a $10,000 account might only do 2 contracts. And the person with a $100,000 account might do 10 or 15 contracts because they're willing to risk more in one trade. But the risk, the reward to risk ratio does not change. It does not change, right? So the trade that we decide on saying, yeah, I'm going to go with the January. So let me show you how you could play with this just a little bit. So I'm going to go back to 3 contracts, right? I'm going to say, well, what if I decide I think it's better to go January 5th? So remember, our risk is about $370, right? So you'll notice here, if I do January 5th, I'm wrong. I'm only risking 315, so I could probably do 1 extra contract. And now I'm at 395. It's a little more, but it's close. And I'd say, oh, I'm making 1,900 off of 400. Is that better? Is that a better thing for me to do? Yeah, it might be, right? It might be where I say, you know what? Instead of going to January, I'm going to go January 5th. That gives me plenty of time. I'm going to be out of this trade by the 20th, and I'm only going to be in it to the 20th if it's still right. It's got to go right for me to keep holding on to this thing. If it starts to fail, I'm going to start taking profits that I have and tightening stops and, right? So, yeah, I would probably go here because if I do this for the same or a little bit more risk, I get a lot more gain. And that puts me around that $400 mark. Or if you're a $200 mark or 250, you might come down here and say 3 contracts. I'm risking 250. So there's a little bit of there's not one contract that's just better than everything else. That doesn't exist. There could be, you could go 1 week further, one more further in the money or out of the money, and it's not going to have a huge difference on the reward to risk, but it might have a big difference on now I can do 3 instead of 2, or right. And so there's some wiggle room, which is why you want to gain comfort playing with a model like this to say, hey, now that I'm close, let's figure out the exact trade that makes the most amount of sense. IBM looks great. I'm pulling the trigger. I've already pulled the trigger. It's on the other side. It's on the other screen. Bob said he put a couple on. Love it. Love it. All right. Our watch list looks good. There's plenty of candidates, plenty of opportunities, putting trades on, managing trades, still seeing the market bullishly. No disruptors, at least not yet. We'll see what the news brings, but the institutions seem fantastic. When we look at the VIX, there's nothing there that's causing any consternation at all. Yeah, great. Santa rally. We wanted it the whole time. This is what we've been talking about. So glad to see that we have that here. Real quickly now, record keeping. We are about to wrap up this part. Let me close this and move this over. I want to view these later. Okay, let me move this over. Yeah. Sorry, trade log. This is what you're on this week. This is what we're moving to is the dashboard. If you want your dashboard to spit out a bunch of really valuable data, then you got to come in here to the trade log and you got to get your cadence of your symbol, your system, your type of trade, all of this, right? When you get the logging down, the record keeping's automatic. Then you just have to come in and process. So if you haven't gotten to that point yet, watch the record keeping videos, spend some time, work your way backwards if you need to. It's a spreadsheet. So you can ultimately get your last 25 and then go backwards to find more and then have it sorted so that it then you have, the patterns of data. We do want it in order eventually. Whatever you put in here needs to be in order because we're looking for patterns to show up from left to right on this information here. Already entered in your log, Bob said. Love it. Great. Good habits make better traders is the way we want to see that. Okay, well, that's it. Options class continues next week, Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to start talking about selling options and spreads. It's going to move fast. I want to touch on everything so you can see it and then know what areas you want to start to go deeper in with your own options trading. So look for that. Make sure you mark your calendars. Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Mountain. We will meet Sunday at our usual time, 11 a.m. Eastern, and we're going to forecast the market and see if we expect more of this to continue. It's good to see everybody. Happy with RF Financial. Yes, regional banks. Mine was PNC. Phenomenal. Looking for another round pretty soon, right? Enjoy your weekend. I hear it's snowy or bad weather out east. If you're out there, be careful. Only 16 shopping days left till Christmas. Make sure you do it. Get it done. Bob says can't make it this week on Sunday. Make sure you watch the recording. Join us Monday morning. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And as always, happy trading.